the Seahawks, the Washington football team beat the formerly undefeated Steelers. The Titans got rolled over by the Browns. The Chargers lost to the Patriots 45-0. All right, that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. Good night. Really, the only thing that felt normal throughout this entire week was the Jets losing, and even that wasn't a guarantee. I guess you could say that the Eagles losing to the Packers also fits that category, but we already know how I feel on that topic, and we are going to avoid that conversation for right now. And I am just going to say it, after week 13, I can kind of understand why Des Bryant just up and quit, because I contemplated it too. Let's actually kick things off today talking about the Jets. Just because, what the heck? The Raiders are tiptoeing along a tightrope, hanging on for dear life to potentially be a playoff team. And the Jets were in this game the entire time, and in the end, they were one play away from defeating the Raiders. One freaking play. 3rd and 10. Vegas needs an absolute bomb here to come out on top in this game, because guess what? A field goal wouldn't win it. So what happens? The Jets' now former defensive coordinator Greg Williams decides to call a blitz, leaving Raiders first-round draft pick, the speed demon himself, Henry Ruggs III, basically with no coverage. With 13 seconds left, Derek Carr lofts an absolute dime, 46-yard touchdown pass to Henry Ruggs. That ends the game 31-28. The Jets are still winless. It was absolutely mind-boggling. What is even more mind-boggling about the entire thing is that the organization was so quick to fire Greg Williams after that call, and yet Adam Gase is still employed. Your team is 0-12. You're going to sit here and tell me that your only problem is your defensive coordinator? I beg to differ. Was Adam Gase not wearing a headset on the side of that field? At this point, I am convinced that Adam Gase has some sort of dirt on the organization. He has to be blackmailing them. There is no other logical explanation that I can think of as to why this man still has a job. Not one single defense can come to mind. But I am all about finding silver linings, and I think it is a good sign that they are at least starting to clean up. There is another unfortunate coaching situation right now that, unlike Adam Gase, this one actually makes me really upset to talk about, and that is Anthony Lynn on the Chargers. Sorry, we have a special edition joining us right now because she just had to be in my room in this exact moment. The organization has come out and said that firing their head coach is not imminent, even after the brutal Patriots loss, 45-0. But I think he is definitely treading on very thin ice right now. This is one of those situations where you really got to remove your heart from it and just look at the facts on paper, because let's face it, Anthony Lynn seems like one of the best humans on this entire planet. He has a heart of pure gold, but as a coach, his quick decision making is extremely concerning, and his clock management is extremely questionable. The Chargers are way too good of a team to be 3-9. A lot of the games that they did end up losing, they were winning convincingly in the first half. They have talent out the wazoo, and as much as I hate to say it, is my other dog barking? What? Momentary pause, it just started snowing and I have a husky, so we have to enjoy this for a hot sec. Okay, hi. As I was saying, the Chargers are too good of a team to be 3-9. They have talent out the wazoo, and as much as I hate to say it, I think it might be time to move on from Lynn when the season's over. The one thing though that I will defend is I saw a lot of people question Anthony Lynn for leaving Justin in the game and not benching him for Tyrod Taylor. And I already kind of gave my opinion on situations like this when Tua got benched in the 4th quarter and the Dolphins lost to the Broncos. These are rookie quarterbacks, and in the Dolphins situation, I actually understand it a lot more because the Dolphins are currently in the playoff picture, so every loss means a lot more to them. them. But the Chargers season is over. So I think it was very important for him to leave Justin in the game. This was his worst performance so far this season, throwing for 26 of 53 passes, 209 yards, his second lowest this season, his first game without a touchdown pass, 2 interceptions, and he was sacked 3 times. I have a very strong feeling that this is going to be the game that matures him and makes him grow as a player. He is going to remember this game for the rest of his career. And I think benching him, putting him in timeout would not have taught him that same lesson. And now that we are on the topic of benching quarterbacks, I guess this might be the right time to talk about the Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz situation in Philadelphia. Tuesday morning, the Eagles announced that Jalen Hurts will be their starting quarterback to take on the New Orleans Saints this weekend, and Carson Wentz will be his backup. Hold on one sec. I need this while we have this conversation. I have had very mixed emotions about this. I've been torn apart inside, but however, I have come to one final conclusion on this quarterback situation. And before I say that, I'm actually going to put this on. I do think this is the best move for us right now, but it absolutely pains me to say that. I have nothing but respect for Carson Wentz. He comes out every single weekend and he leaves it all out on the field for us. I know he wants to win. I know he wants to be better. But just like I said about Anthony Lynn, this is one of those things that we have to remove our hearts from, and we have to look at the facts on paper. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But going into our game against the Packers, Wentz has thrown the most interceptions out of every quarterback in the league at 15. He's been sacked more than any other quarterback in the league at 46 times. He is 31st overall with a completion percentage of 58.1%, and he's 30th overall in yards per attempt at 6.02. It's not looking too good, buddy. Although I fully and wholeheartedly believe that this is not entirely his fault. Our coaching and play calling have been subpar at best. Our O-line relatively doesn't exist. He has no protection. Injuries have plagued us on offense yet again, so I will not be one of those people that sit here and bash Carson Wentz. I will not do it. However, I do have a brain. I think it's obvious that Jalen Hurts does give us our best chance of winning at this current state. And even that has me torn because Washington and the Giants are surging. From a realistic standpoint, our season is over. I literally said to myself, like, is it even worth winning at this point, or do we just go for draft picks? Not that we would draft correctly anyway, but that's a different conversation. But this season, we did use our second round draft pick on a quarterback. So now with our season in the toilet, no harm, no foul, I think it is smart to see how he plays as a starter. Whether it is for us down the road, which is something that I really don't even feel comfortable talking about, or if it's for other teams to show them trade value. I guess my conclusion is that I understand the decision to bench Wentz and start Hurts. I'm really sorry, okay? Sorry, I just got like PTSD thinking back to watching Red Zone this weekend. What? A 200th episode? It was the nuttiest experience of my life. I legitimately think every single game gave me anxiety. The Lions-Bears game? I had so much faith in the Lions and I was so excited for them going into this game, but they were legit down the entire time and I was sitting there like, well, frick. Like seriously, they were down the entire time. But then in the fourth, they came back from a 10-point deficit, recovered a strip sack that led them to getting a touchdown to win 34-30. And the Bears were handed their 6th straight loss. I wonder if I should have included Matt Nagy in the questionable coach conversation because I honestly think he's in jeopardy here. And may I just add that Matt Stafford has 31 fourth quarter comebacks, the most in the NFL since 2009. I think this stat is completely underrated. Now, I had the Lions plus 5.5, so I would have been happy if they just covered, but they topped that, and it was really, really fun to watch. Matt Patricia, who? We also had the Colts-Texans game. Going into this game, I thought the Colts already had it in the bag, and towards the very end, it looked like it was secured. But then all of a sudden, there's just under 2 minutes remaining. The Texans are only down by 6, and they're driving. They were on the 2-yard line, and a low snap to Deshaun Watson ended up being fumbled and recovered by Indy's defense, which ended the game. The Colts came out on top 26-20, and the Texans now fall to 4-8. Now, I took the Colts in this one, so I was very, very happy that they pulled it off. But seeing Deshaun Watson on the sidelines with the towel over his head, looking completely distraught, it just absolutely broke me. That man, I know he messed up. He knows he messed up. He came out after the game and said, I know it was a low snap, but it was something I still should have been able to catch, especially when the game is on the line. But that man deserves better. With Bill O'Brien gone, I want to see the Texans come out next season guns a-blazing. Okay, so while those two games took me on an absolute roller coaster, the Vikings-Jags game just had me straight up perplexed. Vikings, who are you? You start the season off 1-5. I sit here confidently in one of my videos stating out loud, there's no chance that the Vikings are going to make the playoffs this season. Then you decide to completely turn things around, and now you are fully in playoff contention. If the playoffs were starting today, the Vikings would be in them. And you go into overtime with the now 1-11 Jacksonville Jaguars. Overall, I am just very confused by this team. I said this about them last week, and I'll say it again this week. A win is a win, and they came out and won 27-24. And they have won 5 of their last 6. And they have Justin frickin' Jefferson, who in just 12 games has reached the 1,000-yard mark. Knowing that the Eagles could have had him, like, it's fine. It just really only hurts a lot. Oh, but the games did not get any easier from here. The Chiefs could have and almost did lose to the Broncos. It was the Chiefs' defense, honestly, that won them this one. Like what in the 2020? This is something I never would have thought I'd say. And the Chiefs are the only team that can score a touchdown, not know that they scored the touchdown, and still win. On a 3rd and 10, Tyreek caught the ball. It never hit the ground, but it was ruled incomplete and no one questioned it. He didn't question it. Andy Reid didn't question it. And then on the next play, they just punted. You cannot make this up. And in traditional Chiefs fashion, they pulled out a 22-16 win, and they, along with the Saints after their victory over the Falcons, are the first 2 teams to clinch a spot in the playoffs. Some teams, on the other hand, have not been so lucky. I hate to keep mentioning all of the terrible things surrounding the Chargers' most recent loss, but it also eliminated them from playoffs, joining the Bengals, the Jaguars, and the Jets, whose seasons are all guaranteed over right now after Week 17. For the majority of teams, though, there is still a lot of fighting left to do. Let's take a look at the playoff picture heading into Week 14. For the AFC, things are definitely much more stable here than they are for the NFC, and I am fully convinced that teams in this conference are going to need 10 wins to make it to the postseason. The one thing that I think these teams have to keep their eye on right now is the Ravens. The Raiders and the Patriots are still in this thing, and I just have to say it real quick. The Patriots, I never give you guys enough credit. I always pick against you, but your win this weekend, I wish it wasn't against Justin, but it was absolutely unbelievable, so you're welcome. But when you compare the Raiders, the Ravens, and the Patriots' schedules, the Ravens have the easiest chance of getting to those 10 wins. Their win on Tuesday night against the Cowboys was a necessary one, but they also take on the Browns this weekend, and if they can pull out a win there as well, that could be huge for them down the stretch. Now, on the other hand, the NFC has a first-class round-trip ticket on the Hot Mess Express train. Josh Allen talking about his Bills, who are currently on the road to win their division for the first time in 25 years, kind of said it best when he said 8 wins doesn't get you a division unless you're the NFC East. Which is extremely accurate, which also makes the wildcard situation in the NFC extremely interesting. And the NFC East gets a lot of smack, but hello? The Vikings, who are in this picture, are sitting at 6-6. Washington is sitting at 5-7, while the Giants are holding their division. What are the frickin' chances that we see two NFC East teams in the postseason? And neither of them are the Eagles or the Cowboys. The Giants just defeated the Seahawks, and the Washington football team stripped the Pittsburgh Steelers of their undefeated season. This is no joke, unless you are making fun of those two losing teams, of course, because how could you let that happen? But it did, and now the NFC East is looking like 2014 with Colt McCoy and Alex Smith looking good and winning games. And if this division confuses you, then what about the frickin' NFC West? When I previewed this season, I talked about how the West was going to be an absolute coin toss, and I don't think I would have even guessed that it would have gotten to be this close. One week the Seahawks are on top, the next the Cardinals are on top, and now the Rams and the 49ers are like even getting good, so like things are seriously about to get real. So right now, the Cardinals aren't even in the playoffs, but the Vikings, who started off this season 1-5, are, and the Bears, who started off this season 5-0, are nowhere to be seen because they just lost 6 straight. Like holy guacamole, I think we all just need one big deep breath right now, because it's about to go down. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any action. And good luck this week, brave soldiers.